kid before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Monday, starting the week off on a positive, healthy, efficient, powerful note. Y'all know what it is. Give y'all a chance to tap in with the kid, man, before we start building. Y'all see the subject matter for the day. Y'all see what we about to discuss. About to be a pretty deep topic. Something that I thought about earlier today, man, and I just want to elaborate on my sentiments here. So hopefully y'all got about 45 minutes. Chop it up with the kid, man, and add on. Hey, Chef, peace, what's happening? Hey, for sure. Glad to have you. But peace, what's the word? You know, we about to tap into some untapped regions and untapped territories, man. One of those regions that a lot of people ignore. We gonna tap into that point. We gonna tap into it with this powerful build, man. We gonna tap into some untapped regions. Montel, what's happening? What's the word? But we gonna tap into some untapped regions. Very untapped. Don't get discussed a lot. You know, a lot of our problems as men, young boys, things like that, a lot of those problems get swept directly underneath the rug. Underneath the rug. It's not really common to talk about Chris, peace, what's happening? Akuma, what's happening? It's not really talked about on our end. You know, young boys growing up, the sexual abuse, all of that type of stuff. And it happens. It happens quite often. It happens quite often to young boys being sexually abused. And not only being sexually abused by older women. You know what I'm saying? You know, some of y'all got some foul uncles, some foul fathers, man, some foul grandfathers that then touch some little boys too. We ain't even gonna get into the church. You know, we're not even gonna get into the Catholic Church and things like that. These priests molesting these boys, man, and things like that. You know? But what's crazy is, you know, again, when you just come out and speak against certain things, and I'm not saying this is my case, but it's just funny how it never gets examined. When somebody comes out and they speak against that lifestyle, everybody wants to condemn that person and tell them how they shouldn't be speaking like that and they homophobic instead of examining why they may feel that way. Oh, Chris, for sure. You already know. I ain't hard to find around here neither. You already know. But I just think it's funny, man. They so quick to label somebody as homophobic and things like that. Oh, you hate that group. You hate this group. But let's get into why. Let's get into why. Maybe somebody from that group molested them when they were younger. Maybe so whoever, you know, you thought of that. Instead of being so quick to say all this, you hate this group, you hate the homosexuals and homophobia this, homophobia that. What if that group molested them? Why do they act like they not responsible for any of that? Why they act like they got all saints within their community? Why they act like they don't have people out here in their community that are touching little boys, touching little girls? It's happening. So don't act like that community act like they don't pass down any trauma. They act like they don't participate in any of this trauma that's going around out here. Yeah, they do. They act like they're the only ones that have been victims of anything. But have dished out some of these weird acts that I'm talking about. Some of these foul acts that I'm talking about. But it doesn't get discussed. Because when you discuss it, everybody tells you that you hate them. Everybody tells you that you have a phobia towards them. Boom, crypto, peace. What's happening? Everything is good. So when you try to discuss, you try to let these things be known, it don't even reach that point. It doesn't even reach that point. But man, trust me. There were a lot of young boys that were touched by older men, and they grew up with a resentment toward that lifestyle because of that. But again, nobody tries to tap into that. Nobody tries to tap into that. Again, acting like that community, acting like the alphabet LGBTQ community, like they all saints and they all perfect. Like they haven't contributed to any of that. They have. But do they discuss that? Do you hear them discuss that? No, you do not. You do not. All you hear them do is attack people such as myself, such as others who disagree with their lifestyle. That's all that you hear. But they never talk about the corruption within their own community. They never talk about it. Just think about all them Catholic priests. Think about all the young boys that they touch, and think about how traumatized these young boys grow up to be. Think about that. Y'all know some of these churches is foul. Y'all know some of these churches, especially the Catholic churches, y'all know some of them are foul, filled with some of these wicked priests that are touching these little boys and traumatizing them for life. Y'all know that that's the case. So now how are they going to grow up? A young boy touched by his Catholic priest, and he can't even speak out against it. Can't even speak out against it at the time. Can't say anything. How you think he going to grow up? Boom Crypto. Boy Scouts is another good one. I forgot. Boy Scouts, another good one. Boy Scouts is another good one. Man, how many... Man, come on. I was in a Boy Scout for a brief second. Ain't nothing weird happened to me, but man, I've heard stories. For a brief second, I was in that joint. Definitely some weird things that go on there. Don't even get us started. Now, we already know what goes on for the women. You know, when these coaches, these male coaches and all of that be abusing them and all of that type of stuff. We know that goes on. But man, Boy Scouts, churches, man, these little boys be getting touched. Little boys be getting touched, and sometimes they be getting touched by other men. They be getting touched by grown men. And they can't say anything. Big Smooth for sure. Like I said, I was in it for a brief second, nothing happened. But I've heard stories. I've heard people talk about some of those experiences. You know, fortunately enough, I didn't have to witness it. Man, look, I wasn't, and if I did, boy, we was gonna have some problems. We was gonna have some big problems. Like, we was gonna have some big problems, but again, a lot of this stuff under the radar though. Under the radar, you don't see it being discussed nationally. Again, we all know that the young girls are being touched. We all know that the young girls are being abused. We all know that's happening. We all know that's happening, man. But we gotta tap into these young boys that's being touched, that's being abused the same way. Gotta tap into them, man. Gotta let them know that they have places to go. They have people to talk to. We gotta do something about that as well. Especially us men, especially us brothers, man. Just men and we able to do something about that, man. We gotta protect the young boys just like we gotta protect the young girls, because they out here molesting the young boys too. So we gotta protect them as well. A-Shep for sure. And that's something that you really gotta think about when it comes to child care, man. You gotta be examining people these days, man. CEO Peace, what's happening? You got to thoroughly examine, like, man, you at this stage in the game, especially with how wicked the world is these days, man, you just don't trust anybody around anybody, let alone some kids, man. Like, that's how sick it is. Oh, Chris, of course, nothing is all bad, but trust me, I definitely have heard some terrible stories from people that was in the Boy Scouts as far as being touched. Just like you're not going to find all of that in every Catholic church, but you're going to find some Catholic priests that's touching these little boys. I definitely know some people that was within the Boy Scouts that were touched. You know, I know some people that was affected by that, for sure. You just be having to watch. You be having to watch some of these folks, man. Like, we let our guards down too quickly with some of these things. Like the church, it's too easy to let your guard down. Clocks in, peace, what's happening? It's too easy to let your guard down. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why these individuals be able to get one up on you. Because it's like, this is, I least expect the priest to be indulging in these acts. Even after you study history and you see this is more common than it's not, you still letting your guard down because it's the church. Because it's the Boy Scout. Like, we let our guard, because it's the football team or something like that. You let your guard down. We never do that. And then, Jazz and Peace, what's happening? And then once you let your guard down, then that's how when these young kids come up and tell somebody something, they tell them that they lying. Oh, this will never happen. This will never happen in the church. He'll never do that. No, I don't put anything past anybody, especially when there is a track record. I'm not putting anything past anybody. I'm never going to be that naive, that gullible. Anybody is capable of doing that. So when a child comes to me and tell me somebody touched them, my first reaction is not about to be they lying. Nope. And for the light, that's always interesting when that happens. You know, when a child comes to an adult, let them know such and such touched me, and the first response by the adult is they are lying, like the child is lying. Why? I ain't finna do that. I'm definitely gonna look into that situation, because why are you coming to me telling me that this person, out of all people, out of all adults, why are you telling me this one touched you? We got to look into that. We got to examine that. We ain't necessarily saying we gonna believe it instantly. We not gonna believe it. We not gonna not believe it. We gonna examine it though. But a lot of times, man, these children, man, they get ignored. Let's be real. That's why I always look at dudes sideways when they start saying things like, well, why these women, why they wait 10 years? Why they wait 20 years to come out and say something? Dude, do y'all realize how often people have come out and try to tell people or warn people about a person and people just ignore them, tell them that they lying and all of that? Y'all know how common that is? So why y'all act surprised when somebody come out 20 years later and be like, such and such touched me also? They might have told people 20 years ago, but everybody was like, no, nope, that ain't happened. You better keep your mouth shut. Don't say that. Don't ruin that man. Don't ruin that man. Don't ruin that woman. Don't say that. So stop acting brand new, man. Y'all know good and well why some of these people suppress all of that. You sitting on some emotions and feelings right now. You sitting on some emotions and feelings. You sitting on some things that happened to you back in the day right now that it's probably going to take you another 10 years to get off your chest. So you sitting on something right now. You'd have been sitting on something right now for 10, 15, 20 plus years that you have not discussed with anybody. So don't be judging, you know what I'm saying? Don't be looking at somebody else funny because they doing that. It's something that happened to you right now that you haven't told the public. And it was devastating. It's something that happened to you right now that you have not told the public, and it was very devastating. I guarantee you we all got something like that. So don't be making it seem like it's just so easy to come out and talk about something that was devastating that happened to you when you was a kid, because it is not. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. AR, peace, what's happening? It's not that simple at all. Like I said, you sitting on something right now that happened to you when you was a kid and you ain't discussed it with anybody. You might have discussed it with one person. That's it. But you ain't told the public, which is what y'all criticizing some of these folks are doing. Why y'all ain't telling nobody? Why you ain't tell the public? Why you wait 20 years? Some of y'all ain't gonna never tell the public some of the stuff y'all went through. It ain't that easy. As long as they eventually say something, it shouldn't matter when they do it. Shouldn't matter when they do it. As long as they eventually get it out, get it off their chest. As long as they eventually say something, it shouldn't matter when they did. We shouldn't put no timeline on when somebody should speak out in regards to something that was traumatizing that happened to them when they was a child. We shouldn't put no timeline on that. No lifespan on something like that. Oh, you got 20 years to say something, or else it didn't happen, or else you lying. you got 10, 15 years to tell the public, or else you lying, or it didn't happen. Come on, man. Boom crypto is that, man. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, more than likely, when people are molested, it's by family members, it's by people they trust, and it's within organizations that they trust. You ain't about to just get molested by some random stranger. Like, the percentage of that is very low. You about to get molested by somebody that you trust, somebody that you admire, somebody that you look up to. That's where the molestation is going to come from. So it's going to be within an organization that you trust, or it's going to be by a family member or something that you trust. More than likely. More than likely, that's where it's going to come from. That's the direction that the molestation is going to come from. More than likely, it's going to be family member, or it's going to be within an organization that you trust. It's going to come from somebody that you know. Somebody that you know, somebody that you looked up to. When you a kid, the person that's going to touch you is somebody that you looked up to or look up to. That's what's going to happen. Whether it's the, man, listen, and we going to sweep it under the rug when it happens. Because that kid going to tell somebody. If they tell somebody, they going to tell somebody. And if they do that, then the adult going to be like, yep, nope, we ain't doing nothing with that. You lying. That ain't happened to you. He ain't mean to do that. Oh, he crazy. Stuff like that. So we got to start letting these young folks know, man, hey, stuff like that happen, man. Y'all got some people that's listening. That's listening. Like, that ain't thinking that y'all lying. Like, you got to make that knowledge born, man. Listen, if something is happening to you, man, let them know. Let us know. Let the adults know. We cannot have them living in fear. If they get touched, if they get tampered with, they got to be able to tell somebody, and the person that they tell has got to immediately act on that. Confessions and therapy, peace, what's happening? Immediately. We got to start taking some of these things that these kids tell us seriously, man. Y'all done been kids, man. How often did they take you seriously? I can tell not often enough, man. You tell them something, man, ain't nobody taking you seriously, man. So then that leads to you growing up holding stuff in because nobody took you seriously when you was a child at all. And then when you grow up affected by what you went through, they call you all type of bad names and bad terms. Well, because when I tried to let y'all know what happened to me when I was a kid, y'all wrote it off, swept it under the rug. And now I'm affected by it. But, hey, what do I know? Dizzy, peace. LG, peace. Khalil, peace. What's happening? Oh, boom, crypto. I'm gonna do y'all one better. This the best one. Because listen, nothing new under the sun. Things just change form. They transform. That's what happens. So I'm gonna do you a new one. The older friend thing, most definitely. But now what's happening is the virtual world is wicked. Man, when you gotta watch your kid when they playing games and stuff online, like when they doing this online gaming, man, it be all type of predators on this joint. It be all type of predators online. Your child got a YouTube. Man, it's some sickos on the internet, man. It's some sickos on the internet, and they preying on children. They are preying on children. You have got to watch some of these sickos, man, that's on the internet, preying on your child. Why you got your child all on the internet? That's why I be looking at, man, these parents be having they kids be all on the, they done made their child an Instagram page. Why? And that mug open to the public. You ain't even got to approve the people who following it. Your whole child got an Instagram page and all of these adults on it. Why? Your little daughter is 3 years old. She got an Instagram page. And you trying to dress her up looking like an adult on his Instagram page. Man, nah, we not entertaining these creeps. What are you doing? She don't need to be on Instagram at 3. But what are you doing? Like, that's sick. Do y'all know how many creeps are online? Seriously, do y'all know that? Y'all know how many creeps are online, man? You got your 3-year-old daughter all on the internet. Do y'all know how many creep men are sitting behind screens infatuated with that? Entertained by that, man. Come on, man. Like, that's sick, man. Like, that is sick. And that's one of, when they say something is a blessing and a curse, that's the curse part of the internet. That's the curse part. Your little 2-3-year-old son all up on the internet. Now all the, and cause you got the creep old women too. Then y'all be joking around talking about your son is your man. Like, y'all be saying y'all be weird, man. Y'all be weird. Stuff be weird on social media, especially when it comes to these kids, man. Y'all need to leave some of the stuff just don't need to be posted. Some of the stuff don't need to be posted, man. Like, your child gaming, man, and they going back and they communicating with somebody, man. Yo, 9-year-old, 10-year-old son might be out here gaming, communicating with a 55-year-old dude that's a pervert, and you don't even know it. He in Texas and he communicating with somebody in Utah, dude 60 and a pervert. Big Smooth, man, I'm trying to tell you, your son is not your little boyfriend. I don't care if you joking or not, man. Some things need to be left alone. It is sick. Fit Warrior Fitness, peace. What's happening? You say the cyber world is an addiction, big addiction, and they know it. They know it, and they know it, and they knew it when they were creating it. It's an addiction, and it's a lot of sickos out here, man. That's why I always be trying to look out for the sisters. But again, it's backlash, man. Like, that's why I don't even talk to them no more. That's why I don't even, like, when it comes to some of that stuff, man, that's why I just leave it alone. If you cool with entertaining these weirdos and sickos, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not finna waste that energy anymore. But, man, leave your kid out of it. Let your kid make that decision on their own. Leave them out of it. And then when they grow up and they start moving fast, now you have a problem. But you was putting them all on social media when they was 2 and 3. Whole pages and whatnot. Like, the stuff is sick, man. The stuff is sick. People, they talk about selling souls. People out here selling their children. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me put my kid on YouTube so we can make some money. I'm gonna sell my child out here. Let me put my child on YouTube so I can make some money off of them. You know what I mean? They 2 or 3, 4 or 5. Let me just put them on YouTube, make money off of them, sell them out. Let me do that. They ain't never said nothing about wanting to do it. Let me just do that. Let me sell them out. Let me live vicariously through them. Mr. Keeler, peace, what's happening? Gilly WDB, peace, what's happening? AR, I'm gonna tap into that. Like, y'all gotta come up with more creative ways to do something, man. Stop pimping your children out, man. Come on, man. Use your mind. Use your skill set to generate. Don't use your child, man. Don't use your child, man, because you lack the creativity to do something yourself. Now you willing to sacrifice your child. We gotta chill, man. We gotta chill out, man. We gotta protect these children. We gotta protect the children. Because this cycle definitely is one of the cycles that have to stop, or that has to stop. The cycle of children being touched, being corrupted way too young. This has to stop. And in order for that to stop, we got to protect them from these weirdos and sickos. Clocks in. Man, crazy. Crazy. The amount, like, it's just crazy. Like, it just shouldn't even, like, I don't even know how that can just register. Like, and I watch a lot of that type of stuff, man. Like, the truth, like, I just watch a lot of that. You know, I be looking into, like, the psycho killers, things like that. I be trying to tap into the mind of a person like that. Like, what would possess you as a father to say, I'm about to touch my daughter inappropriate? That don't even, like, come on, like, Man, that's just sick. I can't even spit that out to y'all without feeling sick inside. Like that just me saying it sounded sick. Me saying it affected me. Like that is gross, man. But it's people out here doing that. You as a mother say, I'm gonna touch my son inappropriately. What? You as an uncle saying, I'm finna touch my niece inappropriately. Like, why are you looking at your niece like that? Mr. Keeler, man, hey, somebody got to do the dirty work. I feel like one of the ways to prevent it is to study it. Or so you can identify. So that way, if I study enough of these sick minds, if a child comes to me and starts talking to me about that, then I'm like, man, this goes in alignment with some things that I study. You know, I was watching it and this does sound like something that, like, me analyzing this dude that you saying touched you, he do have some of these traits. So I feel like that's one of the way to like spot some of this stuff, man. And when people come to you and say somebody is doing something to me and you've been kind of studying the mindsets of these people, and then somebody say, all right, dude, touch me, and then you actually start looking at them and like, man, you do possess some of these traits. You are walking around like a psycho. Like literally, based off of the psycho mind, because at the end of the day, mathematics is studying patterns. So all of these individuals, like the pervs, psycho killers, they all have similar traits. You got to find a similar trait. So when you find those similar traits, you're able to identify them. That's why I told y'all when I was in the gym one day and this weird looking white dude was in there with it, I was watching him. Because he just looked like one of these. He just looked like him. I had to watch him. I'm like, yo, I don't trust this dude. I don't trust it. He fits the description to a T. So I had to watch him. I'm talking about his mannerisms, everything. It ain't even just how he looked. It was the mannerisms, the way he's walking around, everything that I done saw. I was like, hold on. Dude moving just like these dudes, man. Let me watch him. Devin Peace, what's happening? Oh, yeah, for sure. Big Bill. Big Bill. You know, again, it goes under the radar. It goes under the radar, man. Again, it goes under the radar on both sides, but especially like when the young boys come and tell you something, it's not as national newsworthy as it should be. This type of conversation should be more. It should be talked about a lot more because it happens, man. See, this is the thing. It's almost even more dangerous for the young boy because some of it is praised. So like when you a young boy, like when you a young man growing up and you 12 or 13 and an older lady kind of like touches you, when you go tell you might go tell your older brother, older uncle or something, they might give you a high five. So think about that. You a young boy, you 10, and you be like, man, this 25-year-old lady had touched me inappropriately. And you go tell your uncle, and your uncle like, good job. Man, you confused it. You like, hold on, what? Like you knew that wasn't right. But then when you told somebody, they gave you praise. They like, man, good job. So think about what that just did to that 10-year-old boy. All he went and he told his uncle, he's like, hey, that older lady, man, she 25. She touched me in the pro. She touched me here. I don't think she supposed to do it. Good job, son. Good job, nephew. Man, hold up. So now we set back even more. Because now you done told him good job. So now he don't even think it's a problem now. Because he look up to you, He look up to Big Bro. Big Bro say that's cool. Because it happened to Big Bro. And Big Bro told somebody and got the same response. Good job. See how many more older women you can get to touch you inappropriately. That's what it turns into. Man, it's a sick game out here. It's a sick world. That's why it's almost more dangerous. Because you ain't going to tell a young girl. A young girl say, if a young girl 10 and like a 25-year-old, you ready to go kill him. You ready to go kill him. A 25-year-old touch my 10-year-old dog, I'm finna go kill him. But when it's flipped, you like, oh, good job, son. That's why that's why you start seeing the pattern with the boy when they grow up. That is where this stuff stems from. That's where this stuff stems from. We got praised for that. We thought some stuff was a problem. We got praised. I'm talking to, let me go to this place, see how many phone numbers I can get. Like, you getting dapped up. Man, I got 5 numbers out here. I got 7. It's a competition. Competition. Like, this is how we grow up. It's a competition. Competition, fam. Like, this is how you get to where we are at. Red Paper, you said I was called a homophobe because I don't like watching all that kissing on TV. Man, straight up, man. Come on. Like, straight up, man. Like, we shouldn't have to, listen, we shouldn't have to keep seeing that, man. For real, man. Y'all heard me talk about that on the, we shouldn't have to see that. We shouldn't have to keep seeing it. This, I don't even want to get too deep, but I'm getting tired of that. But we shouldn't have to keep seeing that at the rate in which we are seeing it. My goodness, man. But yeah, you definitely gonna get called that for that. Oh, Devin, I talked about that when I mentioned one of my streams when I started bringing up the books, and I mentioned Craig Hodges' book. Craig Hodges, the former Bulls player that wore the dashiki to the White House, that was on Kaepernick vibes before Kaepernick. That was mentioned in that book. R. Kelly, I think it was his wife at the time. They had took R. Kelly in when he was, before the world knew who he was, when he was a young bull. And Craig Hodges talked about it. He was like, man, R. Kelly looked very troubled, looked like he had been through some things. I forgot his age at the time, but he was just about to hit the scene. And man, his wife, Craig Hodges' wife at the time, forgot her name, but she cheated on Craig Hodges with the young R. Kelly. She was abused, like she basically was abusing R. Kelly at the time. She was way older than R. Kelly at the time, and she had cheated on Craig Hodges with R. Kelly, and they had took R. Kelly off the streets, took him in. And it was the wife that was cheating on Craig Hodges with the young R. Kelly. She was taking advantage of the vulnerable R. Kelly at the time. This was all in this book. Please go get, I wish I had this book. It's in here somewhere. I got Craig Hodges, man. Get his book. It's in there. It's in there. Like he talks about it. Sick. So again, like you say, it don't excuse the behavior, but it's crazy. Like it don't excuse the behavior, but man, before they even happened, Craig Hodges was like, man, or he was like, dude, young R. Kelly looked traumatized and troubled. Like he was just like, dude just looked dude just looked all bad. You know, and he noticed. That's why they took him in. That's why they took the young R. Kelly in, let him stay with him. That's why they did it. Because they was like, man, this young boy looks troubled. And guess what? Instead of the wife making it, the wife touches him again. The wife, when you keep touching these young boys, man, they gonna grow up to do some. They gonna grow up to do some things. If that never gets addressed and they keep getting abused, they gonna grow up to almost be abusive. Some of them. If they just keep getting abused sexually and the problem is never getting solved, they have a great chance of growing up abusing sex in some weird form or fashion. Listen, it's a lot of studies that corroborate this. A lot of studies. It's a lot of studies that confirm and validate this. A lot of studies. A lot of studies, man. AR, yeah, it's the long shot book. Yes, I got it around here somewhere, but man, y'all see, I got too many books around me, so I don't even want to try to look for it. But it's somewhere behind me. It's somewhere, bro. I'm trying to see if I got it, man. But that's a great read. Like you almost, I'm a fan of sports, so I already knew dude, which is why I got the book. But man, if you like, it's a surprisingly good read, great read. But he mentioned R. Kelly, like that whole story, broke it down. Broke it down. The wife cheated on him. Like, this is stuff that don't be. See, this the crazy thing about that. Of course, y'all already know how we go all over the place, you know. But Snuggles, peace, what's happening? The crazy thing about that, like, the wife cheated on dude R. Kelly, you know, you don't even really know about it. But man, let it would have been the flip though. Let Craig Hodges would have cheated on her with somebody at the time, man. The whole world, the world would have knew about that. Snuggles, you say how were fetishes created? I feel like it depends on the fetish, and like all of these fetishes are created differently. But I definitely know for a fact, just based off of the little studying that I've done, like when you are tampered with at a young age, as far as like sexual fetishes and things like that, a lot of that derives from being molested and touched at a young age. You either become overly addicted to like sex, like excessive sex, that's your thing, or you start doing like weird, like you be on some R. Kelly type vibes. Like it'd be stuff like that. They used to link it to homosexuality, but nobody wants to. That ain't the norm no more to say that. But yeah, D, peace, what's happening? Everybody that's tapping in, peace, what's the word? HIP, yep. Yeah, I was on, yep. Drug addict or suicidal, all of that. All of that. Gilly WDB, man, listen. Come on. Man, some kids that seen some traumatizing things, man, and it's like when you a kid, you don't like a lot of time you don't know how to process this stuff, man. You don't know when you 3 or 4, you don't know anything about therapy, count, like you don't know anything about this stuff. Like you don't know what you seeing. Like you don't under like you don't how are you don't know how to process some of this stuff, man. You fresh into the world. You like what? If you see it enough times, you think it's normal. Man, I got Mike Tyson's autobiography. Mike Tyson talked about growing up, seeing all the weird behavior from his moms. Basically, seeing all he was seeing was his mom. Hey, his mom, he was like his mom's abused dudes, and the dudes abused his mom. So it was just a lot of abuse going on. So he said to him it was normal because that's all he saw. That's all he saw. All he saw in relationships were abuse. You know, his example of a relationship was the relationships that his moms were in, and all of them resolved in abuse or revolved around abuse. So he was like, he looked at it as normal because that's all he saw. Repetition, if I see something enough times, it's gonna like I'm gonna accept it. Whether I like me accepting something as normal don't necessarily me feel like, oh, okay, this is good or bad. It's just like this is common. This is supposed to happen. That's how you start looking at something. When you just young and you just keep seeing something, you're like, okay, this is supposed. Men, women are supposed to get in these relationships and fight. It's supposed to go like this, because that's what I keep seeing. That's how you start processing things as a child. Like, all right, this is supposed to happen. Every time I see a man and woman get together, they argue and they fuss and fight. Therefore, when I get into a relationship with a woman, I'm gonna argue, fuss, and fight because that's what I see. That looks like that is what's supposed to happen. That is how it's being processed. Whether it's being processed like that consciously or subconsciously, you might be trying to deny it on a conscious level, but then subconsciously it's still resonating. Like, all right, you in this relationship, boom. Now you next thing you know, you arguing, you fighting. You ain't even trying to do that. You ain't even trying. You like, dad, where is this arguing coming from? It comes from what you seen repeatedly as a child. That became your reality because you saw it so many times, you saw it so often. Your subconscious started to accept, like, all right, this is the norm. This is what's supposed to happen. This what you see right here is what you get. And you never reprogram the subconscious, man. So now when you get into a situation, like, you gonna unconsciously manifest that environment. And that happens a lot. Oh, Gilly, man, come on. Talk to him. Talk to him. Gilly, and that's sick. You know, when people say that type of stuff, yeah, if he don't if they don't fuss and fight, if they don't say nothing no more, then that mean they don't care. Woo woo woo. What? Y'all wanna be with a dude that gonna punch you in the face and argue with you because you feel like it spices things up. What? Like, you want a dude to verbally aggressive, like, to be verbally aggressive with you, to put you in your place. It spices things up. It turns you on. Like, that's sick, and that's not normal, and that's not healthy. And you need to go get that. See, that type of stuff. Like, they go tell a dude, they go tell men that we need therapy for just being angry and things like that based off of what we done went through. But when you as a woman start saying things like, it turns me on when a dude is verbally aggressive towards me and puts me in my place, that's not healthy mentally, and you need to go talk to somebody about that. It shouldn't require all of that. Like, that shouldn't be. Listen, you need to go get help. You need to seek assistance for that type of mentality. Like, that's not healthy. Yeah, put me in my place, being verbally aggressive with it though. Like, you can't put her in her place in a nice way. You got to be verbally aggressive. She likes that. If you like something like that, you need to go talk to somebody. Straight up. If you like that type of nonsense, you need to go. If you like any type of toxic behavior, you need help. Like, flat out, you need help. We not about to say that's just what you like. I like what I like. No, we not gonna say that. You need help. I ain't got to say you need help. You need to go talk to somebody. You need to get some assistance. Straight up. End zone. What you say? Woo. Yep. And you say to them it was normal. You know, in every blue moon, you gonna have the child that's like, nah, this ain't right. Like, even like on my end, it was things I saw that just didn't stick with me. Like, I saw, you see like alcohol, you see people drink alcohol and you see the effects, and you like, I'm like, nah, I'm kind of good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do that because I don't like the way it make you act. Because I'm seeing the effects of it. I'm seeing people drink, and I'm seeing it like they waking up all bad. They don't remember what happened. They throwing up. So in my mind as a child, I'm like, none of that. Like, none of that is pleasant. So I'm good. Like, I didn't look at that and say, okay, this is the norm. Like, when you have a hard week at work, you go get sloppy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't look at that as normal. I said, you see it. But I looked at it like, man, that don't look fun. Like, that doesn't look fun at all. It looks like you are dying. So I'm good. So I never gravitated towards that because of what I saw. But a lot of children was in similar environments, they grew up, started drinking, grew up, became alcoholic. Instead, I looked up, I analyzed it, and I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. Amongst other things, I'm like, man, I'm not going. Nope. Like, the way I was wired as a child, like, I'm looking at things, man. I value some things in my life early on, so I looked at things. If I looked at something and I felt like it was bringing pain, bringing discomfort, things, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Now, of course, I wasn't perfect. I took some L's, but man, for the most part, man, I was examining things. I was observing early on, and I tried to dodge a lot of things that I felt like was just gonna bring me down. You know, I was like, let me dodge them, let me avoid them to the best of my ability. A-Shep for sure. And this is another thing that people don't understand too. I'm not gonna say, oh, you got alcoholics in you. I ain't gonna say I got alcoholics in my family, but I mean I seen it. And I seen people. I got people that drink alcohol in my family, of course. So I seen the effects of it. So my thing is, I see how it makes the men in my family act, and I don't want to act like I'm good. I don't want to act like that, you know. So I'm not, and I know I'm one of the ones that if it's something like that that I'm indulging in, I'm not gonna do it in moderation. I can study my family tree, like you know what I'm saying. Like I'm knowing what type of person I am. So I'm like I'm just not gonna do that. Like I'm one of the ones that it's either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. It ain't gonna be no moderation. So some things I don't indulge in simply because it ain't gonna be no moderation. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go hard. Like I'm going hard to go home. Like if I indulge in something, it's not gonna be I'm gonna do just one. Nope. So I'm like, man, to save myself, I would just never indulge in that. I knew myself early on. I'm like, nope. And I knew myself from studying myself in family members, man. We can't deny DNA. You know, we can't deny it. You know, you can study your family members and learn some things. You know, just because you got it in your family don't mean you have to turn out that way. But if you all you got to do, you got to examine what's happening within your family and then make adjustments. Gotta make adjustments, man. That's what we not doing. You know, you gotta ask questions, fam. Like I used to ask family members questions about family history. I'm trying to study patterns. I'm like, yo, hey, what type of patterns do we have in this family? Like, man, has some people lost their minds before? Like, I need to know these things. I gotta know what I'm more prone to do so I can avoid that. So I can eat certain foods to where this don't happen. I gotta know these things though. So I gotta study the family. I gotta study the family history, the family tree. Do the knowledge that's the DNA, the information that's being passed down to me. Some of it unfortunately comes to you in the form of dreams and things like that. And when it does, you gotta take heed to that. You gotta tap into it, man. DNA is just information that's passed down. That's all that it is, man. It's information being paid. You got access to all the listen, you got access to a lot of information that precedes you. That's why when some people, that's why I'd be like, oh, I feel like they was here before. It ain't really got nothing to do with no reincarnation. It's DNA. That's how you are able to feel like you were here before, because you have access to all this information that precedes you. You have access to information that happened 300, 400 years ago. Obviously, you wasn't around 300, 400 years ago. But somebody that has your DNA, they were. Somebody within your bloodline, they existed 300, 400 years ago. You got access to that. You got access to that information. Now, again, some people know how to tap into it consciously. But most of the time it comes to us unconsciously. And you start seeing things in dreams. You're like, man, why am I seeing this? Why are they speaking this language in my dream? It's DNA. You have access to all of this. You have access to all of it. This ain't nothing spooky, man. This is science. It's DNA. You ain't got to be spooked out by that. Oh, they speaking a weird language in my dream. That may have something to do with your people's 300, 400 years ago. Now you got to decode this language. That might have been the original language of your folks back in the day. DNA, they passed down. Passed down. You ain't got to be spooked out by it. You ain't got to be spooked out by it. You can consciously tap into that. You can tap into the time 70 years ago, because you had an ancestor that existed 70 years ago. You had a relative that existed 70, 80 years ago, 120 years ago, 150 years ago. You had somebody that existed within your family. That's part of your family tree that existed. You can tap in. You can tap in. That's all that is. But a lot of people, they don't want to tell y'all that thing. They'll rather sell y'all a fairy tale, have y'all believe in a fairy tale. Because they got to make it seem like all of this is outside of you. See, if they tell you about DNA, if they really tell you the power in DNA and how to tap into DNA, then again, now they gave some power to you. They gave you some power, so they got to sell you all of these theories and these fairy tales that have something to do with sources outside of you. They ain't gonna tell you, hey, that's just your DNA, and you can tap into that. How sexy is that? They can't sell you your DNA. They can't make a religion and be like it revolves around your DNA. Like, no, they can't do it. They gotta create a fairy tale so they can sell you the fairy tale so they can get you to follow them. They don't want you to know how powerful your DNA is like that, because it's your DNA. Literally, it's your DNA. Bobby, my brother, peace. What's happening? So they not gonna give you that information. They not gonna let you know how powerful that is. They not gonna talk about it because they can't sell you that, man. What they look like trying to sell you your DNA? Like, they can't do that. They can't profit off of your DNA. They cannot profit off of that, man. They always got to make us appear powerless. So they can't be like, hey, your DNA, you have access to all of this information. So if you need to tap into something, man, you can just tap into that DNA and you got all the answers right there. You got all the information, all the data right here within your DNA. Nah, we can't tell you that. We gotta sell you on a theory on the afterlife. We gotta sell you on a theory of reincarnate. We gotta sell you on all these theories. Like, we gotta sell you on all of these theories instead of telling you it's DNA. Like, that's funny to me. Like, I was into, because hey, y'all know how I get, but I didn't already tapped into the, to the topic for the day. But man, I was into all of this stuff way back when. All of the, like I said, I was studying all of these spirituals. I was studying all that, religions, spirituality, all of that. Man, when I started piecing everything together with like bringing science into the, like, none of this stuff is as spooky as folks make it seem. People just try to make some of this stuff seem sexy so they can sell you on something. You know, that's all they trying to do. They trying to increase their following, so they try to remix some of these things, some of these terms, some of these concepts, theories and things like that, man, so they can sound like they above and beyond everybody. When a lot of these folks be saying a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day. Again, they trying to sell you a dream. They trying to sell you a fantasy. Because if they sell you a fantasy, if I say a bunch of stuff that y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? If I say a bunch of nonsense that y'all don't understand and y'all start believing me, like, y'all gonna think I'm that guy. Because I just said something that don't make sense. Y'all can't understand it. I got y'all. Y'all gonna think I got this information from some source that y'all ain't connected to. Which is all these people be doing. They start telling you, oh man, I got this divine knowledge from such and such and such and such. Man, from the man, they start saying all type of nonsense. And people start believing it. Because they didn't took a bunch of things from all these different cultures, then remixed them. And then now they done sold you to them and they done told you they got it from some higher source. And you like, Dad, because I surely don't understand this. It sounds good though. So it must be on to something. Man, all of this stuff is simple, man. All of this stuff is simple, man. It's not spooky. You know what I'm saying? It's not spooky at all. All you gotta do is study yourself. Study yourself, study the universe, study science, things like that. And again, when I say science, like, people think, white man, nah, white folks don't have, like, they don't own science. Like, science is a whole, like, it's a scientific method. Like, when I say something like science, man, like, I'm talking about using the method to uncover the truth. That's what, like, science is, man. That's what I mean by study science, or study scientifically, I should say. Chef, for sure, man. I was caught up in. I wasn't really caught up in it though. I was just studying it. Every time I was treated like this. That's why I got so many books behind me. Every time somebody would say something that I didn't quite grasp, I would go get a book on it. And that's how I figured out what some of these dudes were doing. That's how I figured out how some of these dudes are just taking bits and pieces of all these cultures and putting them together and manipulating people. Because I something like that, okay, they saying this, and then I just was looking in this book and they saying what they, so then I'm like, okay, I see what they did. Some of them don't try to hide the fact that they do that. They literally, like when you study enough of these cultures, like they literally be having names that come from like 5 different cultures. Don't be making any sense. They name be something like Pharaoh Allah El. Like what? You didn't just went to Kemet. You didn't just put Islam, and you didn't hit the Moor. You didn't took some from the Moors. But even though the Moors kind of fool with Islam, but man, you got a name like that. Like what are you talking about? Man, my lessons say don't mix, tamper, and dilute. That's what these dudes be doing. Be taking all this stuff, man. Be trying to sell people this hope, trying to sell people this lifestyle and this culture. When all you doing is stealing things from all these other cultures and groups. And don't even give them credit. That's the funny thing. Not even giving them credit. You taking these things from these groups and won't even pay homage to them. Like, that don't even, like, if you gonna do that, man, y'all know, listen, y'all know I come from the 5% nation of gods and earths, man. Y'all know how many dudes out here are utilizing our lingo, the peace sign. Y'all see, man, the names, all of that. Y'all know how many dudes are out here doing that stuff and they ain't never studied not one lesson. Yeah, man, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of frauds out here that's using supreme matter, today's mathematics, woo, 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 and they fraud. Like, dude, if you not a part of the culture, do not use don't do that, man. That's an insult to the people that really live this culture out. I'm not out here speaking religiously because I'm not doing that, man. That's not my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna stay true to my culture and my lifestyle. I'm not about to mix tamper. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to do that, man. Like, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm gonna let them have their lifestyle. I got mine. I'm gonna let them have their culture. I have mine. I don't need to do that. Like, at all. So I cannot stand when I see other folks do that, man. Like, if you intrigued by something, go build with the people that's a part of it, and maybe they can teach you. You know what I'm saying? Like, my goodness, that's what I did. I was intrigued by something, and I went online and I found the people that was a part of the culture that I was intrigued by. Now, when I study other cultures, it's more from a respect and knowledge standpoint, not so I can go hijack some things, man, and put it in my name. I'm not finna do all of that. I'm not gonna do all that at all, man. Like, I'm gonna know what y'all stand for. I'm gonna study it in that sense. Like, that stuff is ridiculous and it's corny, man. But I can tell you right now, it's a lot of brothers out here that's still in the lingo, still in the, and it's one thing if you inspired by it, cool. But man, just to do that and have no regard for the actual origin of it. Like, if I say something about, if I mention something pertaining to another culture that I'm not a part of, I'm going to give that culture credit. I am going to give that culture credit. Like, I'm going to say I got this from the Nation of Islam. I'm going to say I got this from the Sufis. I am going to say I got this from Christianity, studying the Bible. I am going to say that. I am going to give the credit to the culture in which I got it from. I'm not just going to steal it and act like I'm down with it. And I'm not. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. A Chef, for sure, man. Man, listen. I got my book bag right here, fam. And listen. I got my book bag right here. I keep this book bag on me. And one thing that's always in my book bag, right here, my lessons, my 120 left, 120. I got all of them right here. 120. My lessons. Good condition, man. Look at that. You know, we keep these joints. Look at that. I got my lessons right here, man. I got them all. Just right here. This the type of studying Like we had to memorize. You gotta memorize these joints verbatim. You gotta memorize all of this verbatim. Like you have to do that. You know, so when somebody start trying to hijack something from the culture and we actually have to put in this work to memorize these lessons, man, come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. I keep these on me everywhere I go. We always, what they say, study your lessons. Always, kid, peace, what's happening? And that's all I tell people to do. If you are part of a culture, listen, study your culture. If you a Christian, if you a Catholic, whatever, if the Bible is your book, master that Bible. If Islam is your, master that Quran. If you don't fool with none of that, master whatever it is that you fool with. Master it, man. Master, become the best representation of that culture that you can be. And I'm gonna respect you all the way. I don't respect the frauds. I don't respect the people that claim a culture, that claim something and don't live accordingly to it. That's when I have a problem. That's when I have a problem with you. If you gonna pick and choose what you finna find, nah, we don't do that, man. We don't do that. Kurt, peace, what's happening? You know, so you gotta have some type of principle that you stand on, man. You gotta have some sort of foundation, especially as a man. You gotta have something that you represent and stand for. Something that you can bring to the family. Like the man is supposed to come with that foundation. He's supposed to come with that culture. He's supposed to come with those commandments and laws. That's man. He's supposed to come with that. Man is supposed to come with the culture, the commandments, the laws. He's supposed to do that. So if you're not doing that, nah, you're not living right. You got to come with some sort of commandments, laws, something. What do you stand for, man? Like you got to let that woman know what you stand for. You set the laws, you set the commandments. Like that's how you come into the mix. Like these lessons right here, this is what I stand for. They got everything in here that we stand for. It tell you not to be a poison animal eater. You know what I'm saying? It tell you. It's right here. It's the laws. We got the law. We got the commandments. They like what you stand for. Here we got them right here. Stand for something, man. What they say. You a fall for anything. So you gotta stand for something. You gotta have some sort of foundation. You gotta have some ounce of culture, man. Like you ain't gotta be. I ain't telling you to be a part of nothing. But man, you gotta know something about your culture. You gotta have some type of cultural something that you can bring to the table, man. Because we got a rich culture. We got a rich history. So the least you can do is bring a little bit of that to the table, man. Least you can do and teach that. Teach that to that sister, man. Teach that to that queen, man. Teach that to that lady. Teach it to her. But now we in situations where they teaching us like that ain't how that's supposed to go. And I'm gonna take that page out of Bibles and things like that. They not supposed to be teaching us, man. They not supposed to be bringing the commandments to us. That ain't how that's supposed to go. That's unnatural. So that's why when it goes like that, it don't normally work out. You out here and gave her the responsibility to teach you. Like, dude, no, that's whack. That is whack. You have gave her the responsibility to teach you, to civilize you. Like, come on, man. That ain't how that's supposed to be going, man. That is not how that's supposed to be going at all. She's not supposed to be teaching you. She's not. She's not. Like, she's just not supposed to be doing that. Like, listen, that ain't even just in the, like, that's in a lot of these groups. That's how that's supposed to be going. But when you don't have anything that you stand on and stand for, that is going to be the result. Now she's going to be teaching you something. She's going to be teaching you how to move like a man. She's going to be teaching you how to move, period. And that's a problem. That's a problem. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to talk about that, but that is a problem. It's a big problem. TR, peace, what's happening? But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I got to make my moves, man. I got to get myself together, head back up to this gym, finish these folks off for the evening. Y'all know how I go, man. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Hopefully y'all took something away from this build. But y'all be easy out here, man. Like Styles P say, love is love. I'm gonna let y'all enjoy the rest of this Monday. May tap in with y'all tomorrow, man. But I got some books coming, some books I'm gonna break down. So I might hibernate for a little minute. So y'all stay up and be easy out here, man. Y'all be safe.